Hey guys, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Kitchen, the Freeze Drying Academy. Now I know it's been a little bit on the freeze dryer, just been really busy doing a lot of other things. But what do I got for you today? So I'm actually gonna freeze dry some salsa. Now not just any salsa. This is my famous smoked in a pumpkin salsa. That's right, not pumpkin salsa, smoked in a pumpkin. That's right. So what I did is I took all these vegetables and stuff, and I put it inside a pumpkin that I turned into a smoker. I'll put the link in the description so you can check that out and do it yourself. Well, let's get this baby together. We're gonna start freeze drying some salsa. Okay, so what I did, I took the salsa and I put it into a big container here. Then I mixed it up with the blender just to kind of give it some fresh air and stuff because it's been, preserved for a little bit, a couple months here. And I just wanted to kind of aerate it a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of these little trays here, and I am using some special little dividers here from freeze-dry-supply.com. Check that out, and just start pouring with the ladle. And we're gonna fill this tray up as much as possible, okay? Now, I may not get all 4 trays in this batch, but if I don't, I still have a lot of salsa that I have in my fridge put away. So we'll make sure we get 4 trays here. What we're gonna do right now is we're just gonna fill these up, and then we have to put them in the freezer for a couple hours, preferably overnight if you can. Just make sure that this is all frozen before you put it into your freeze dryer for several reasons. A, it speeds up the process, and 2, it makes sure that none of this stuff starts going all over the place within your freeze dryer, because remember, it does freeze dry under vacuum. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and load these trays up, then I'm gonna put them into my freezer. I ended up with 2 trays of the salsa. I didn't want to do all 4 trays because then I would have used up my entire inventory because this is something new to me. I've never freeze dried the salsa before, but I've been told that with the freeze dried salsa, you can grind it up and make a little seasoning on it, add it to some tacos. You can kind of almost make it like a beef broth or a stock. So we're gonna try see what happens. But now we're gonna go ahead and get this into the freezer, let it sit there for a few hours until these are nice and solid. Then we're gonna get them into the freeze dryer. All right, guys, so the salsa has been in the freezer here overnight, okay? Remember, you always wanna try to freeze your stuff ahead of time. It actually helps out the freeze dryer. The freeze dryer is on. I went ahead and turned it on using my phone, the beautiful app, because of the Wi-Fi dongle. If you don't have it, I do highly recommend it because it gives you a whole bunch of versatility in your tools as far as controlling your freeze drying machine. The valves have already been closed on both the left and the right side. Let's go ahead and get this thing loaded. I'm gonna go ahead and open the door. Now you have noticed that I did move the freeze dryer. I got rid of the slot machine that I wasn't really using. It needed a lot of services because it just sat there too long. So it gives me room now to put the freeze dryer next to the Coke machine. Let's go ahead and open the freezer real quick. We're gonna go ahead and grab out these trays. And you see I got these little covers from freeze-drying-supply.com. Lay it down here, remove the first cover, put that off to the side. That salsa smells really, really good. Here, take a look at that. That's frozen. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll zoom in on that real quick. Let's see what happens here when we zoom in. We're gonna get a beautiful picture here. Look at that. Now again, that is frozen. I've never really frozen a salsa. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put this back into the freeze dryer. We'll put it in the freeze dryer. Now remember, I only did 2 trays because I didn't want to utilize all my salsa for this experiment. I'd rather know ahead of time before I ruin every batch. Ooh. Oh man, that smells really, really good. Okay, and I'm only gonna use the 2 middle trays. I'm not using all 4 trays. I'm gonna go ahead and close the door. There we go. Now, I can hit continue from the machine, or I can go ahead and hit continue from my phone. And what my phone tells me is, I'll do a screenshot here. It says load the trays into the freeze dryer, close the drain valve. So it does remind you, it allows you to hit continue. We're gonna go ahead and hit continue right now on the app. And it asks me a question real quick, because I actually hit the button too many times, so don't fat finger. And now it says the word freezing. Let's take a look at that. And you'll see you got a timer in the upper right hand corner. It gives you the temperature of the machine. But right now, these babies are freeze drying. I'll see you when they're done. The salsa has been in here now for, according to this machine, 76 hours. Now, that seems like a lot, but that's also with a 24-hour extra dry time. I always like to do the extra dry time, especially when it comes to liquids. So this is pretty much, should be well done dry. So now we're gonna go ahead and hit in batch. I'm gonna go ahead and open my valves here. We got one over here. And I've also got the one over here. And we're gonna go ahead and hit, I'm gonna hit no defrost because I'm not gonna use the machine. I wanted to just go ahead and defrost naturally. We're gonna go ahead and pull these trays out and I'll see you guys inside, back in the kitchen. So what I did is I automatically took off these little dividers from one of the trays. And this is what they come out with, like little cubes. So we can take a look at that, zoom in here. And you'll see that they got really good texture and so on. So let's pull one up. Let's take a look. Smells like salsa. Really light though, like kind of spongy. So I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we can get the snap on the microphone here. Not sure if you guys heard the snap, but let's try it. Let's see. It kind of reminds me. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, they got a little bit of a bite to it. They got spicier. As I was saying, the first thing when I put it in my mouth, it reminds me of the freeze-dried ice cream. So it's got like that spongy kind of like texture. And as soon as you put it in your mouth, it attacks your saliva and it goes boom, like explosion. Whoa. That is some super concentrated salsa right there. You gotta be careful. That's a little wicked. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and start grinding these up so I can make like a salsa powder. So you can put that into like some hamburger meat to make some amazing taco. You can put it on just about anything, including some nacho chips, a little bit of seasoning here. But there you go, guys. That is Crazy Dave's smoked in a pumpkin, freeze-dried salsa. I'll see you next time.